everyone. Coach Sullivan here with MGS Coaching Football. My background is my 38th year coaching football. I've either been a defensive, offensive, or special teams coordinator, as well as a head coach at both the collegiate and high school levels. So in this presentation, I wanted to talk to you about one of our prisoner games, which means it's a four-man involved pass rush game. Okay, and this one we call stab. And the lucky ring goes to the rover because the rover's smiling yet again. The rover is part of the pass rush without blitzing. Okay, so again, if you see my 3-4 base defense playlist, you'll get how all of this is part of our built-in disguise. The offense, normally regular situation, we're three-man pass rush, dropping 8 into coverage. So then the offense has to figure out if there's a fourth, who is the fourth, okay? And so the rover, being in coverage a lot, usually catches the offense by surprise when he's a part of a pass rush game. Okay, again, not blitzing. So stab, okay? Again, four-man to the rover, lucky Ringo. So in this case, it's a lucky. The stab portion of it, it's the rover, okay? So he's stabbing B gap through the guard, and it's, if you look at it, C to B, that's a 2 gap. So you could say it's a stick, but we don't ask our rover to execute a stick. So we just say we call this only if, again, you do your homework, film study, tendencies of your opponents. It's not only a passing situation, it's the tendency of your opponent to be a downfield, longer developing passing situation. And then you teach your kids how to react to, a screen, a draw, or a quicker pass because the offense is just looking to punt the football, or they're backed up in their own end. They're trying not to turn, all those things. So based on that, the likelihood is the offensive line surface is going to be soft setting, right? Given some ground. So that's why this line is gaining ground, as we say, okay, meaning moving toward closing the distance to the quarterback. So the stab is his aiming point on the snap of the football is the near hip of the guard, okay? And he's going to end up running right through his near shoulder or outside shoulder, and that's his pass rush. Okay, it's not going to be a butt side thing. That's his lane. That's why he's got a solid line. Okay, the defensive end on the call side. So as always, again, a built-in disguise. The end is on the left, so any lucky involves him. Okay, and if it were Ringo, it would be the stud, and they all involve the nose. So I'm going to get to the D end on the call side, end in this case, okay? He's going to flash stick, which means A. So it's not just a one step. He's going to take a couple of shuffle steps as if he were sticking A gap. And hopefully the guard has his eyes on him and he moves with him, narrowing the distance, right? Shortening the trip to the quarterback for the rover, okay? But then once the rover comes into his vision, this is what we say. He's in your vision as he's, nearing or he's engaged the guard. Then you loop behind the rover. Okay, that's the tangible landmark that we give. Your eyes should be on the rover as you are, sticking, so to speak, flashing. So it's not just head and shoulders. He's got to take a couple of steps, get the guard to see him, and then as the end sees the rover, that's when he loops behind the rover. Okay? And then he has outside cage or contain. All right? He then, as he's working off the butt of the rover, he's going to see the tackle. So if the tackle is manned on the rover, whether he should have been or not, it's irrelevant. If the tackle is manned up on the rover and he crosses his face, he's going to be out on the outside of the tackle. If the tackle has turned because he's got C-gap responsibility, then you'll be inside the tackle. Bottom line is you'll be butt side of the tackle, okay, on your way to outside cage. Now, The nose is simply stabbing and penetrate. I know it doesn't say it anywhere. I'm just telling you. Boom, he is penetrating A gap away from the Lucky Ringo as hard and as fast as he can. Okay, he is trying to draw the center with him with that immediate A gap threat. Okay. And the defensive end opposite the call, he is stepping outside and now it's a read. This is very similar to the twister. So see my plug family blitz playlist. Okay. If the tackle turns out to him, because again, it's big on big, then he's going to rip inside, butt side into the B gap. If the tackle stays square or turns inside to the B gap because you got the back there, right? Maybe it's a full turn back protection, then he's going to stay outside. So he's a butt side of the tackle. Again, similar to the twister, see my plug family playlist. The trio coverage, see my zone blitz coverage playlist for any details to spin the safeties and all that on the snap. And then the way we may not have an outside cage defender here to answer this question, but because we're playing our maybe combo, which means Mike and backer, you can see the playlist, but I want to give you enough now so we can tie it into how we get outside cage here if needed. If we're able to push the quarterback out of the pocket and he doesn't go to our left to an outside cage defender, but even if he did, okay, he went this way where let's say that the stud in this case is in the B gap. So the back, say, is here. The backer takes him. Well, that pulls the Mike is now mirroring the quarterback. So if the quarterback breaks contain, the Mike linebacker is going to pull him up. The Mike will get the quarterback. The Mike is the fifth guy responsible for the quarterback in that instance. If, again, the back stayed here and the quarterback scrambled this way, it would be the Mike again, would add to it to make sure the quarterback doesn't escape the pocket. He now would come up and become the outside cage defender. Okay, hence the fifth rusher. Okay, so this is a very strong, solid four-man game, prisoner game, because it puts a bind on all of the offensive linemen. Okay, it's four-man pressure versus, in this case, I'm talking about a six-man protection. But by stabbing and picking a guard and then flashing A, now the guard's in a bind and potentially the tackle is left out on an island as well. So again, even if the tackle engages and mans up on the rover, we're still going to be able to get outside because of our butt side philosophy. We don't just run into blockers, okay? We teach our kids how to read and where they fit in, and it's honestly not all that hard to drill. See one of my defensive line pass rush drill playlists, okay? So as always, please, any questions at all, please reach out to me at Coach MJ Sullivan at gmail.com, and I'd love to talk football with you.